Good morning, White Sox fans. I'm Jim Margulis, and this is your White Sox wake-up call for April 25th, 2023. The White Sox have now lost 5 straight games after dropping the series opener to the Toronto Blue Jays at Rogers Center by a score of 5-2 on Monday night. I'd say that it's kind of pointless to rehash the details because it's similar to so many other White Sox losses this season. But with the team 7-16, I'm thinking that a growing portion of the listenership is now using the wake-up call to learn exactly what happened. So indeed, the Sox reverted to their trademarks of a classic 2023 loss. Specifically, they only scored in 1 inning, and Lance Lynn had 1 really bad inning. But there were a couple wrinkles. Lynn, who had been struggling to settle into games, threw a perfect first and held the Jays scoreless through 3, including a shutdown inning after the White Sox provided him 2 runs in the top of the 3rd. His flop instead came in the 4th, and after Luis Robert Jr. appeared to thwart Toronto by robbing Matt Chapman of a homer to center field. Robert didn't even time his leap well, but he made up for it by timing the hell out of his reach, which allowed him to snag the ball just as it cleared the top of the much shorter fence at Rogers Center. The catch should have counted as 2 outs, and Lynn wishes it did, because he walked Alejandro Kirk to prolong the inning, and then all hell broke loose. Brandon Belt singled to right, Whit Merrifield doubled Kirk home, and then after Lynn started Cavan Biggio 0-2, he rolled a curveball on the 5th pitch, and Biggio socked it out to right. Just like that, Toronto turned a 2-run deficit into a 2-run lead, all after 2 outs, and the White Sox never really threatened over the remaining 5 innings. That was actually mildly surprising because the Sox did make Chris Bassett work early. They drew 3 walks over the first 4 innings, including one by Robert that started some 2-out magic for the Sox in the 3rd. Andrew Benintendi followed with a single, and then Andrew Vaughn sizzled a 111-mile liner past Kevin Kiermaier in center for a 2-run double. Alas, the White Sox only had 2 at-bats with runners in scoring position the rest of the way. Their best opportunity came in the 7th after an uncharacteristic throwing error by Chapman put Lenyn Sosa on second with 1 out. But Robert got ahead 2-0, watched strike 1, then chased 2 pitches for a strikeout, and Benintendi flied out. Robert struck out 3 more times on the night, giving him 12 over his last 26 plate appearances. Chapman ended up atoning for the error in the 7th. Keenan Middleton gave up a leadoff single to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who stole second and took 3rd on a 1-3 putout. Middleton was visited by Pedro Grifol and James Kruk after an awkward but effective effort, and he stayed in to face Chapman with 2 bases open. That's when Chapman crushed a changeup over Benintendi's head and left for an insurance run they didn't need. The Sox probably should have pitched around Chapman, but it probably didn't matter. The White Sox have now lost 5 games in a row and are 0-4 on this daunting AL East road trip. They have a shot to score in more than 1 inning tonight against José Berríos, who has a 6.23 ERA in a season and a 6.84 ERA against the White Sox the last 5 times he's faced them. Then again, he is coming into this game with 2 encouraging outings under his belt, while Mike Clevinger tries to rebound from 3 ineffective innings against the Phillies his last time out. He only got 4 whiffs on 75 pitches, and the Blue Jays will pose another tough test. First pitch is at 6:10 p.m. Central on NBC Sports Chicago, but you can also watch the game with Sox Machine and From the 108 on Playback. Go to playback.tv/Sox Machine, create an account to verify your cable or streaming subscription, and you'll be on your way to riding this miserable roller coaster with us. Down on the farm, the White Sox affiliates were all dormant on Monday, and they all start new series tonight. Charlotte hosts Norfolk, the Birmingham Barons await the Tennessee Smokies, the Winston-Salem Dash open what could be an 8-game series with the Hickory Crawdads with the first of 2 scheduled doubleheaders this week, and the Kannapolis Cannonballers travel across North Carolina to Zebulon to face the Carolina Mudcats. Around the league, the Twins not only strengthened their grip on first place in the AL Central, but now they're the division's only team without a losing record. A couple of forgettable former Yankees turned the screws on their old team as Sonny Gray threw 7 shutout innings and Joey Gallo homered in Minnesota's 6-1 victory over New York. Meanwhile, Kel Quantrill didn't make it out of the 4th inning while the Guardians tallied just 4 hits in a 6-0 shutout at the hands of the Colorado Rockies. The Twins now lead the division by 2 games at 13-10, 2 games ahead of the 11-12 Guardians, and 6 games ahead of the 4th place Sox. Those Sox also slipped a game further behind the 3rd place Tigers, who beat Milwaukee 4-2. At least the Royals remain the Royals, as they got knocked off by the Diamondbacks 5-4 to fall to 5-18. In good baseball, the White Sox can feel slightly better about themselves since the Rays routed the Astros by a score of 8-3 to run their home record to 14-0. Wander Franco made a great Kevin Mitchell-like barehanded catch in foul territory that you'll want to see in case you missed the highlight. The Rays have now won 6 in a row while ending Houston's 4-game roll. The Orioles ran their winning streak to 7 games after beating the Red Sox 5-4. Chris Sale took the loss despite being staked to a 4-0 lead, and that's why he punched stuff in the dugout. Atlanta's Spencer Strider took a perfect game into the 7th and a no-hitter into the 8th, but after Gene Segura flared a slider out of the zone into left field for a single with 5 outs remaining, he had to settle for 13 strikeouts over 8 two-hit innings in the Braves' 11-0 victory over Miami. In the wildest game of the night, the Oakland A's beat the Los Angeles Angels 11-10 in 10 innings. They blew a 7-2 lead and almost wasted a pair of back-to-back homers by Brent Rooker and Jesus Aguilar, but a win's a win, and now they're only tied for the worst record in baseball with the Royals. That'll do it for this edition of the White Sox Wake-Up Call. Visit SoxMachine.com to commiserate about the game, catch up on the progress of the White Sox top prospects, and there's also a new edition of the Future Sox podcast to listen to. And don't forget about the playback watch party with us tonight, where we'll do our best to work with the White Sox give us. We're used to that. If you are new to the Sox Machine podcast, you can subscribe to us wherever you find podcasts, and a 5-star review wouldn't hurt either. If you like what we do, you can support us at patreon.com/SoxMachine. You can get an ad-free version of the site and show with bonus content on both for just as little as $2 a month. Thanks for listening to the Sox Machine podcast. For SoxMachine.com, I'm Jim Margulis.